We are good to go.
Okay.
You want your initial there.
Right.
They can see. They can see.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for coming, everyone. My name is Emmett Mckeen Butch, and this is my colleague.
Lucy Rose. Hi.
But she's a bit shy, so we hope you can hear her. I'm sure you can hear me. I've got as Pakistani would say, I've got a big baga. But Lucy, I don't know if she can. Little baga. Yeah, that's good. So before we do start, just a show of hands, which faculties, which schools do you guys come from? Anything? Yeah, please.
HSS.
HSS, which is Social Sciences, Humanities. Okay.
SSC, School of Science and Engineering.
Which course are you?
Chemistry.
Chemistry, beautiful. You guys? Chemical engineering, my friends. Biology.
Department of Economics.
Economics. Good.
SSC and Physics.
SSC and physics. Thanks. Okay. You guys?
SSC biology.
Biology.
SSC math.
Math. So we've got math. Sorry, I'm an engineer myself, so I love it when engineers or physicists and mathematicians show up. You guys?
SDSC.
Hey?
SDSC.
SDSC. What is it?
Business school.
Business school. You're not part of the session. Anyone else here? Hey, you're not part of the session. Are you related to Mariam?
She's a
Are you related to him? Okay. So I should probably ask people on Teams as well, guys. Could you just put it in the chat? What you do, maybe I just want to see, just to gauge where you guys come from, what you're looking for in today's session, and I'll try to tailor some of the. When is the session expected? It is started now. SSC Computer Science. Thanks, Khadija. Daud is Computer Science. Heather is Computer Science. That's good. Anthropology and Sociology, very interesting. Economics, Law. EE graduate is Mubin. Electrical Engineering, that's good. MBA. Okay, so we've got a really diverse student population. That's fantastic. Thanks to the folks in the chat. Let me just go back to my screen. Okay, look at me trying to work technology. So let's start with just the basics. I think it's easy for me to guide you through why would you want to study in the UK. Are you guys interested in the UK, or you just want to know about your opportunities? Are you actively looking for something? Anyone? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah, good. So why I would think you want to study in the UK is, well, firstly, it's centuries-old universities. You've got historical universities like Oxford, Cambridge, Nottingham itself. So there's a lot of world-leading research that we do. There's a lot of innovation. And at the same time, they're recognized by universities and employers across the world. I know what I'm saying is quite obvious, but I think one really good thing that comes out of studying in the UK is a post-study work permit. In essence, if you study a master's degree, let's say, I'm assuming most of you would be looking for a master's or a PhD. If you do it, you get a 2-year work permit. You can stay there. You don't get it, you apply for it, of course. And then you don't have to work. If you want to just chill, you want to travel, you want to do anything at all, look for jobs, maybe look for a PhD, that's an opportunity. But if you do a PhD, then you've got a 3-year work permit. You can apply for a post-study work permit. So if you're also wondering why it might be useful for you to do a PG course, why would you want to do a master's in the first place? You're probably about to graduate, or you already have graduated. The first thing you get is specialization. Master's courses usually are more narrowed focused. They have some form of specialization. So maybe if you've done electrical engineering, you might be doing electrical and renewable energy engineering. So your focus then moves toward renewable energy. Sometimes it's career advancement. If you do a bachelor's, you work with a company, at some point the employer might ask you, in order for you to move up the ladder, go to a management position, it's best you go out and get a master's degree. So, but that feeds into the last point, the continuity. Because you're students already, you're in the frame of mind to study and you're already doing it. When you get to a master's course right after, it's easy, it's very streamlined. You just go from one degree to another. It's very bridged, the streamline, the gap is. And then, of course, you've got research opportunities, which are a bunch in the UK. So if you're looking for PhDs, if you're looking to do some meaningful research, an MSc in the UK or a master's in any other course, of course, is a very good way to catapult you in that career. But of course, it's also skill development. Because the research we do there, and usually you're taught by experts in the field, you've got this, you can adapt to the industry. that's in this. So I'll hand over to Lucy. I feel like I'm boring you guys. So just come in and tell us a little about why would you want to study at Nottingham, Lucy?
So Nottingham is part of the Russell Group, which is a group of universities that are known to be research intensive. The latest QS World Rankings were 108 in the world. And what we're most proud of within engineering is that all of our courses for engineering technology are in the top 20 within the UK. We're also really well known, particularly for the university of our size, for our research power and the impact that we have. So it's really relevant to you if you're looking at somewhere to do a master's, that you know that research that's being done is excellent, in terms of internationally excellent or world leading, because those people in those fields will be teaching you. Thank you for coming.
It's okay.
So another thing that we're very proud of is our employability ranking. So we're the third most targeted university by UK top employers, and part of our package is to make sure that our graduates are well-rounded and very employable. So there's a lot of things alongside your degree that you will have access to that we encourage our students to get involved in from day one. We've got a very global student community. We've actually got campuses in Malaysia and China as well. 34,000 students from over 150 countries on our UK campuses, very diverse staff body as well. You would come and feel at home, and particularly it's a multicultural city, all needs are catered for. So you would come and hopefully feel very at home there. So I mentioned the Careers and Employability Service. So this is something that actually lasts for life. So we would encourage you to get involved from day one, because you can start looking at your CV, identifying any gaps in that CV. You can go to them with a job application, so they can tailor your application for a particular job. They can help you identify global job opportunities in that field. And actually, after that first graduate job, you can come back and utilise that service again to promote your career in the future. The other thing is that on the study and work visa, you can work for 20 hours a week. Now in Nottingham, we say that would actually, those 20 hours a week would enable you to cover your living costs. We're considerably cheaper than London, so it may not be the same there, but within Nottingham, if you were able to work 20 hours a week, you'd probably be able to cover your living costs. We wouldn't necessarily recommend that, because we want you to come and engage in everything that Nottingham's got to offer, but we totally understand that you might need to do that. So we're based around 5 faculties. We're both from the Faculty of Engineering, but we have courses within Arts, Medicine, Health Sciences, Science and Social Sciences. I'll just let you have a quick look at the courses for anybody that's interested in these. As part of our partnership with LUMS, which we're really delighted to be involved in, some of these courses have already been mapped, so you'll be able to apply to them seamlessly from your courses to ours. We'll go a little bit more detail later for the engineering session and what courses are available. We've got a very well-known medicine and health science, and very well-known for pharmacy. And our Nottingham University Business School has got a very outstanding reputation as well, with MBAs and master's courses. So a little sneak peek at our campuses. I feel really lucky to work here. I am a Nottingham girl, so I've been in the city for over 40 years, more or less. A little bit of time away, a lot more than 40 years, okay. But we are very lucky to work on this campus. This is our signature Trent building, where our Vice Chancellor sits. It's set around a lake, and our engineering buildings are just a 5-minute walk up from the lake. So I spend a lot of lunch times walking around there. It's very nice. Sometimes it rains, but for the majority of the time, it's nice to get out there at lunchtime. So this is the University Park campus. A lot of accommodation is also on campus, so we're a campus-based university. We're very lucky. I feel like we've got the best of both worlds, because we can actually, we've got a campus-based university, so all of our world is there, but we're only 10 minutes from the city centre, which is very easily accessible. And there's accommodation on campus as well as on the outsides as well. Also, the biggest medical centre, I think, in the UK is also on campus. Jubilee campus is a 10-minute walk up the road. A lot of buildings on there, very innovative architecture, have been funded by industry. So a lot of our research takes place on that campus as well. And some of our additive manufacturing buildings, again, for engineering as well as advanced manufacturing. That's Jubilee. We also have a campus for our biosciences department. And it's slightly outside the city centre, because it's based in farmland and countryside. I don't know if anybody's heard of Dolly the sheep. Dolly the sheep who was cloned. She was cloned at Nottingham. There's about 300 Dollys now. She's got some offspring. So yeah, right out in the countryside, a beautiful place to be. They have farmers markets, they have students markets, lots of local products grown and sold. It's a really nice, got a really nice vibe. So facilities on all campuses include what you would expect. It's a lovely place to be, libraries, cafes, shops, beautiful green spaces, lots of events going on around campus, halls of residence on and off campuses as well. There's free hopper buses that run between the campuses to connect you, so you can just jump on those anytime. And very easily accessible public transport links to Nottingham city centre, so buses and trams. So just to let you know a little bit about our accommodation, it would be guaranteed as an international student. Lots of opportunities available from Nottingham, but also lots of external providers. So please do look at those. But on our website, you can see all of the differences. So you would be expected, you'd have a single bedroom. You can opt for shared or non-shared bathrooms. You can also ask for single-sex accommodation. You have to abide by certain deadlines to do that, but then you would be guaranteed that during your year with us. So again, the options are catered or non-catered, and there's lots of, on a card system, you can use all the facilities on campus. So that would be sort of a shared study space. Your own bedroom with desk and wardrobe would be the standard accommodation, but there's lots of other more funky providers in the city centre as well. We have a residential experience team who are there 24 hours a day of the week to look after you as well. So I'm going to give you this to Ahmed because I'm far too removed from the student experience, as he would tell you, to tell you about it, whereas he remembers.
Or the ones I deal with. But I did go to Nottingham, Malaysia, so that's where I finished my undergrad. I finished part of my PhD in Malaysia, then I went to the UK. So I'm quite familiar with the student experience. So I think the student union at the University of Nottingham is one of the best in the country. It's essential, I believe it's essential if you're a student, especially having had this experience myself. Studies aren't simply just going to a lecture, taking up notes, listening to boring people like me. It's about exploring the world. You're exploring yourself. And, you know, this opportunity is, you have 300 plus student societies, you've got 70 plus volunteer networks, you've got volunteering projects, you've got 100 societies dedicated to different ethnicities, different cultures, so you can learn more about people. But instead of giving you some numbers, let's have a couple of examples that I've taken down. So we've got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, calisthenics, to keep fit. I put Bhangra there because I think you'd keep fit if you keep Bhangraing every day. But at the same time, we've got, if you want to learn trading and investment, we've got a society for that as well. But if you just want to join like-minded people from Pakistan, we've got a Pakistan society. There's a Ghanaian society, a Nigerian society, if you want to learn about different cultures. If that doesn't sell you on the student union, we've got a matchmaking society as well. So if you're looking for love or, you know, just to see what's out there. But that's not even the craziest one. The last one, it blows me. I wouldn't know what you do there. There's a Taylor Swift society. And well, what would you do there, right? I mean, what would you sing? Songs? You like to listen to Love Story? You listen to You Belong With Me? Sorry, I know the oldies, not the new Taylor Swift ones, but it also serves as a potential. I hear Sabrina Carpenter is really big these days, so maybe you can open a Sabrina Carpenter society there. But it's also a place where you can go for fitness. I think you'll see it in the next pages. We've got a David Ross Sports Village. The UK invested about, not the UK, the university invested about 40 million in this facility. It's got climbing walls. It's got, and by the way, the university competes in the Bucks, which is the National League for Sports in varsities. We've been voted as the Sports University of the Year by the Times and the Sunday Times Square University in 2024, and I believe in 2003 as well. I could be wrong, of course. We've got indoor facilities such as pools, bouldering walls, climbing walls. You've got table tennis, archery, snooker rooms. We've also got outdoor sports. In fact, I think there's a new investment, Steven Gerrard. Anyone a football fan? Yeah, big football fan. You know Steven Gerrard is CVG. Used to play for Liverpool, number 8. So Stevie G opened what do you guys do with your free time? Stevie G opened one of these facilities. I think it's to help younger footballers to really reach their potential. And in addition to that, you also have access to excellent support services such as personal tutoring. So I think student support is something that we really invest in. I think you get usually, at least in the engineering, the way it works is you have access to a personal tutor, then you have access to a year tutor. If you're an MSc, you'll have a senior tutor. So you'll have multiple steps of tutoring if you need support, if you want to ask, you want help. But more importantly, I'm there. So if you've had this contact with me, if you've seen me, I'll share my LinkedIn at the end. Just get in touch. I mean, even if I'm engineering, if you do end up in Nottingham, it doesn't hurt to just get in touch.
If they get in touch with me, nobody wants to talk to me.
Lucy's not going to offer you free coffee. I usually have coffee in my office, so I'll throw in a couple of biscuits as well, just to be kind. But if you need extra support like visas and immigration, if you need support with, accommodations, anything at all, the student support team, we've got a fantastic one. Now some of you not saying that so LUMS has excellent standards of communication in terms of the courses you deliver. In fact, you're a recognized university, which I'll come to in a second. But if you think, you need English support even, or you think you need some extra support into how to write reports and all, we've got 2 separate institutes that handle this. They offer 3 consultations per term. So you can go, you can check in with them, they'll sit you down for 45 minutes. You can even send them the reports to read through and then give you some feedback if it helps you get better. So let's jump into Nottingham City. I think it's essential to understand where Nottingham is. So we're in the part of England that we'd call the Midlands. And England's a really small country. If anyone of you've been there, you can go from the south to the north all the way to Scotland in about, Mariam would tell you better, Mariam's been there.
8 hours.
4 or 5 hours. What are you doing? If you're going on a bicycle. But it's also very well connected. If you want to take a train to London from Nottingham, it's about an hour, 40 minutes, maybe sometimes less. Usually the trains are quite direct. You can go to the most remote towns in England, again, because it's small, but the transport and the railway network is extremely efficient. It's very good. So
Paris.
you could go to Paris, yeah.
No.
Unfortunately, if you're Pakistani, you need a visa first. So, like I do every time I need to go to.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, but it is an excellent. I think Amsterdam is about an hour's flight away from. Yeah. And like Nottingham is pretty close to Birmingham, so Birmingham has its own big airport. If you want to fly in and out of Pakistan, it's about 10 hours with one stop in Doha or Dubai. So it's a good location to be in. We've got our own trams as well. So it's around this slide I try to play a game just to keep you engaged because I know these things can get a bit boring. So I'm going to ask you a question and the only answer is Nottingham. Okay? So people in the chat, you're very welcome to unmute yourself and play. As well. So anyone who's into literature, anyone who's into literature? Oh, thank God, I'm not the only one who's not. So there's this guy, D.H. Lawrence. He puts the boundaries of what it means to be human, what is essentially the nature of a human being. And I mean, he's a big philosopher, extremely big poet. Ever heard of D.H. Lawrence? Big name. Where was he born? Is it the evening time, or have you not had lunch, or are you going for dinner? Which one is it? So I'm going to ask you the question again. D.H. Lawrence, big poet. I don't know the guy myself. Where was he born? What's wrong? What have you brought me to? Maybe the next question will be a bit better. So I don't know, growing up, or maybe even now, you would have seen this guy with a green hat, and he's got a bow and an arrow. And he takes from the rich and he gives it to the poor. And he has a den of thieves. Ring a bell?
Yeah.
Who is this? Where does the folklore come from? Nottingham, very good. You're the only one playing the game, but thanks for playing. That's right. The folklore of Nottingham is, the folklore of Robin Hood comes from Nottingham. Right? Say again. I should give you a high five for answering. Good job. Okay, so that's 2 of them. The third is, so you go out, you play some sports. You don't have to play sports for this, but you've got a massive migraine or headache. What's the first thing you take? Other than Panadol. You've all taken it. Doctor's given you, mummy's given you. For pain. It's hurting you. Come on, don't be shy. You play with the game. You play the game.
District.
Just print paracetamol, what's the bigger one?
Tylenol.
Someone said it. Someone said it. Brufin. When you say Brufin, by the way, it's really funny to a British here. They don't understand it because it's ibuprofen. We just simplified to Brufin in Pakistan. That's right. So ibuprofen was patented in about 1956. Don't take me to court with this, but that's the year I remember. And it was patented under the company of someone called Jesse Boots. Where was this discovered? Now we're playing. Very good. So Jesse Boots and his pharmacy. So after I think 1970s or 60s, the patent expired and you came up with a bunch of generic ibuprofens. But the legacy Jesse Boots lives on in Nottingham because he's one of, I think, the biggest boot owners we had initially. I think for the University Park campus that was.
Yeah, he gifted the land to the university.
That's right.
Back
Yeah.
100 years ago.
That's right. So and I don't know if any of you visit UK or you've heard this. There's a brand. It's a big pharmacy called Boots Pharmacy. Yeah. Mariam knows it. Someone here knows it as well. So Boots Pharmacy is in fact headquartered in Nottingham. Where is it in Beeston? I think.
They're very near the
I
university,
think. Yeah. So that's my little image of ibuprofen.
yeah. Thanks.
That's good. I don't remember what the next one was. Geesh. Yeah. So do anyone recognize this building? Anyone at all? Anyone a DC fan?
No.
Will Smith?
Windsor.
Wayne's?
Windsor Castle.
Windsor Castle. That's not in Nottingham, but good try. Anyone a Batman fan? Batman? Anyone? So you guys don't listen to Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, and you don't watch Batman either. And I thought I was the really broken one. Sorry, you guys are boring. so this is, if you've seen Batman Begins, anyone's watched Batman Begins? That's the one with Christian Bale. Anyone remember the ending? What happens to Batman's house? No? It burns down or whatever. But Bruce Manor, right?
I didn't watch the Dark Knight. I don't watch the Batman Begins.
It's in Dark Knight Rises as well, so you've got nowhere to escape now, buddy. Wayne Manor.
He knows.
Yeah. So Wayne Manor in Batman Begins or Dark Knight Rises. Where was the Wayne Manor shot?
Of course.
That's it. God, I feel bad for your lecturers. I really feel bad for your lecturers. So the Bruce Wayne's manor that was shot in The Dark Knight Rises and Batman Begins is in fact Wallerton Hall. It's open to the public. I actually went there about 4 weeks ago. They have exhibitions for public. Right now they've got dinosaur bones there. So that was cool. And I'm a bit of someone was on from anthropology as well. So maybe that would be of interest to you. But yeah, that's in Nottingham. Now we've also got the third. I should rephrase that into a question, right? Yeah. So do you know where the third oldest cricket ground in the world, Trent Bridge, is? Very good. That is what anyone a cricket fan? Watch cricket, play cricket. It's called. You know Trent Bridge? You guys know Trent Bridge? You've probably seen it on screen. This is probably the hallmark of Trent Bridge. It's called the bowler's graveyard. So if you're a batsman, you go and you have fun there. And finally, we've got. I'm not going to play the game. You guys are you're not engaging me at all. Can you? Okay. She loves them. So I'm going to phrase it so that it makes you look bad. What's a football team that has won 2 European leagues? Back then, the equivalent of the Champions League now, and then managed to stay out of the Premier League for the longest time. Which city has that team? There you go. Nottingham Forest, which is back in the Premier League for the last 2 seasons. It's good. But if you're a football fan, we've got Nottingham Forest. In fact, I went to watch United versus Forest about 4 months ago.
What I usually say is that you can come and watch your favourite teams play here at the moment.
That's right. So you don't have to be a fan, but you can watch Liverpool.
Because my
Chelsea.
three sons obviously don't support them even, because most of their lives they weren't in the Premiership. So I support Manchester United.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. So the city has a bunch to offer. I mean, generally it's the 9th best student city according to some ranking. QS best student cities. There's a lot of diversity in sports. So we've also newly opened. I don't know. Do you guys play tennis? Anyone tennis? No, badminton maybe. Have you seen a sport? Badminton? Yeah, good. Have you seen this new sport? It's not new, but it's newly recognized as tennis called paddle. Have you seen it? It's pretty cool. So it's like a indoor court It's like squash meets tennis meets table tennis. So you've got a big bat that looks like a table tennis, but you play on the tennis. You play with a tennis ball. It's really fun. So we've got a new court in Notts County. You pay about £4 and you can play for 2 hours. I'm sorry, I bought you. Catch you later. Thank you for coming. And then I think it's one of the few cities. So the UK has a net zero target for 2050. Nottingham's on track to, I think, meet this by 28, was it? So the sustainability is a big thing, maybe bigger than most cities, but it's also a UNESCO city of literature. Lord Byron was also, he lived in Nottingham, did he?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That's right. So one thing that's not covered here is Nottingham's, it's not a big city, it's not a small village. For me, it's a good blend of the two. It's a small town meets a big city. It's got a population of about 325,000 people. I think for the UK, that's massive, but for Pakistan,
I obviously think it's massive, but then I come here and I have to relatively realise we're small, but it does feel big.
Yeah, and so about 25% of the population is the student population. What that means is I can't go out on a Friday night because someone or the other, a student catches me and like, can you never checked my paper, or you never came to class, or.
You're not selling the academics.
Yeah, no.
Generally do.
No, yeah. But it's because it's a student town, there's always something happening. Anyone a Bring Me the Horizon fan? Of course not. Why did I ask you this question? Bring Me the Horizon, there's a band who, no, sorry. So one of their breakout albums was live played in Nottingham in a place called Theatre Royal. So they have the Royal Albert Hall. So if you like plays, if you like to go for live concerts, well, you've got that in Nottingham, and all sorts of cool things as well. So that's again the Walton Hall, and that's not superimposed. That is an actual deer. So that the park has, you can go, you can look at deers, and that's just UK. They've got all sorts of.
It's literally a 5-minute walk from the campus.
That's right. Yeah, it's 5 minutes away.
It's next door.
You're right. Yeah. Entry requirements, because you come from different courses, I don't want to be prescriptive, but generally speaking, if you're applying for a master's degree, we require you to have an equivalent of a 2-1 or an upper first class. Now, this CGPA that you see is accurate to LUMS. So the good thing is because LUMS are really big and you are the best advisors in Pakistan, we know that, we've worked out what CGPAs works in the range of 2.9 to 3.59 is good if you work with percentage. I believe you guys work with CGPAs, you do, right? Yeah. Unless you have percentages, you can look at something like 65. If, however, you think you haven't made the grades to come to Nottingham, we do offer a pre-master's courses as well, so you can enroll, you can get your grades up in there, and then you can come directly into the courses. I bet someone's probably wondering, do we need IELTS? You don't. Because LUMS is a recognized university and your mode of teaching is English, and I think Pakistan's official language is English, all of those things put together, you don't need an IELTS to come to the UK. If someone's asking you, you tell them to talk to me. But I have some general advice if you're from other Pakistani universities in case you want to disseminate this to your friends. The moment I've all been waiting for, no, not really, you've been all waiting for, the University of Nottingham. So generally, fees-wise, I think you're looking at about 30,000. Again, I don't want to be prescriptive. It does vary. I'm talking, generally speaking, you're looking at £30,000 a year. So, you could look at scholarships if the tuition fee is a barrier, it's a hindrance. So we offer one of the most generous packages in the country, postgraduate, not undergrad. So we offer something called the International Postgraduate Excellence Award. It's through application, and you can get somewhere between 2,000 and 8,000 off of the supposedly fee that you have. The other one is something called a Developing Solutions Master's Scholarship. So there is no in between. It's either 50% or 100%. And there is a very good chance you can avail this. All you need to do is write up a really good statement. What they're looking for in this Developing Solutions Scholarship is, in essence, what do you bring to the table? What have you gained so far from LUMS through your life, being a Pakistani, whatever it might be? What course you're studying and how would you use that course to kind of bring impact to the society in the UK or even in Pakistan, depending on what your aspirations are. But something's on the outside, right? Probably funner than that. Yeah. Yeah, please. No one needs you here, Lucy. So if you're an engineer, maybe you can look at, I'm going to do an electrical engineering with a focus on renewable energy or sustainable engineering energy. And then how would that align with maybe the 17 development goals of, the SDGs? So something like this, you need to demonstrate that impact and how your skills, don't keep it generic. I'm trying to tailor some advice here, but, don't give generic answers like applying for a job. Give your answers very specific to the institution and the impact and the output that you can produce from there on out. To apply for the Nottingham scholarships, you need to have an offer of a place. Could be conditional, can be unconditional as well. Either way, the portal on which you apply, it will give you the option to apply for the scholarship.
The deadlines of these, I'll just jump in and tell you next.
Sorry, go
The
for it.
deadlines are usually in about May, so we would just say try and apply by February if you want to ensure you've got an offer.
Yeah.
Apply.
Yeah. So if you did enjoy the session, and I'm not binding up, I'm going to give you more information. There is a very high likelihood I'll be back here in March. Although I'm engineering, you can still ask me for support. You can ask me, I'm not writing this application. Can you have a quick look? Anything at all you need support with, just ask. And if you're an engineer, I'm going to give you some special attention, of course. That's just a little bias I have. But yeah, so we'll have that discussion again in March, hopefully, about developing solutions, about the postgraduate excellence board. So there's 2 more scholarships, but these are not Nottingham. These are something, I'm sure some of you have seen them. These are Commonwealth scholarships. They're massive scholarships in that they'll cover your, 100% tuition fee. They'll give you a return airfare. They'll give you maintenance awards as well as additional allowance for stationery. Usually Commonwealth has an October deadline. I think it's just recently been released. I know it's coming right up, so maybe it's a good time to get on it, instead of applying for the Commonwealth. But the other thing is, something else is the Commonwealth shared scholarship. So this is shared between the Commonwealth and an institution. The institution comes up with specific courses that align with Commonwealth's 5 development areas. 2 of our courses that apply for engineering, are civil engineering, advanced civil engineering, and environmental process engineering. That was last year. But there are, so I know some of you are from economics, someone was from nothing else that I can see. But yeah, if any of these courses, I think they will be revised, but usually they'll remain similar. So you can apply for these specific scholarships if you're going to study on these courses, but you can apply for Commonwealth. This is not through the University of Nottingham. I want to note this again, but these are scholarships that are prestigious, not just in terms of the fee that you get, but also it's something to put on your CV. They are highly competitive, but they have allocations for regions like Pakistan where there's massive talent pool, but the barrier is tuition fee or moving abroad. The last one, which some of my friends on teams might be looking forward to, is Chevening. The Chevening scholarships, anyone heard of it before? Good. It's a good thing. I think their deadline for this year is the 5th of November, so you've got some time. The only thing here is you need about 2 years of work experience. You need to be an eligible country. Pakistan is eligible for Chevening scholarships. And it is usually a binding scholarship in that they'll ask you that, you need to go back to your home country and you need to contribute for about a minimum of 2 years. So if you're just graduating, if you're in your final years, or if you're in your 3rd years or whatever, it's a good time to start thinking on this. But if you really want to immediately go for scholarships, I'd go for the Commonwealth and indeed the international postgraduate or the developing solutions offered by the University of Nottingham. So, yes, ma'am.
Should we still need to have a conditional offer first? Or do we apply while we're applying for the program as well?
I don't want to answer that question because I don't work with the Commonwealth. It's a good question. And if you want, I can give you a link. You can go there. As far as I understand, and don't take me to the bank with this, but you do need to apply for a course first and then apply for the scholarship. But if you want, at the end of the session, we can check it together. So do you want to talk a little about the...
So within our partnership, which we're most honoured to be in, there's lots of courses that have already been mapped. So you know that if you're doing one of those LUMS courses, you'll be able to gain eligibility to any of these courses if you meet the criteria. So,
Yes, right.
so yeah, biology and chemistry, and then...
I think there was a chemist here somewhere. Chemistry, very good. Chemistry, biology.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go back to the slide to show you some of the map courses? Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Just speak up. Yeah, take a picture maybe. So the idea is because they've been mapped in a partnership agreement, there is a very high likelihood if you're coming from these courses.
You will be accepted onto
Will be
those programs
accepted
if you meet the
onto
GPA, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's not that you're excluded from applying to anything else, it's just that those have already been mapped. So some courses will be, you'll be actually prioritised in terms of if they're full as a partner student, and also for particular ones, they might need to look at, if you're not on these background courses, you'd have to just maybe look in more detail at your transcript and your grades in certain modules. But it's not to discount from any of these.
Okay. Cool. Then, so we're from engineering. So I'm gonna, if you want to stay, knock yourselves out, but you're gonna get even more bored than you already are. But if you're an engineer, stay back on. I'll give you a little briefing on what the Faculty of Engineering is. We are partnered, so we'll give you a course mapping on what your courses are mapped against.
Maybe we can open for questions if you guys have
Of course. Anyone on Teams have any questions? Anyone in the room? Any more questions I can help address? No?
Either engineering brochure, but I'll also need some business cards if anybody wants to take those.
Yeah. If you have questions, I do have a QR code for my LinkedIn to just connect. Don't ask me questions. If I don't know the answer, I'll connect you to someone who does, but it doesn't hurt to ask. Just get in touch. There's Lucy's email. If you're engineering, email her. If you're not engineering, she will not respond to you.
I will. I absolutely will.
Any questions on that? Do you want me to check?
Check.
Sorry, if you couldn't scan the QR code, my name is Emmett Timkeen, but yes, sir, please.
As I'm in first year of
Okay.
so I'm gonna apply for a exchange program in the middle of my degree.
Exchange.
So what's the criteria?
Guys, do you have any other
Looking on an
questions?
exchange question. I think it depends on the course that you're in, but he's looking for an exchange.
That's managed at Central University level. Which course, sorry?
Any more questions?
So
We have some questions here, Ahmed.
What did you say? Sorry.
Oh,
just There's no food on this question. So if you're expecting that, it's not gonna happen. Yeah. Which course are you studying? Economics. Funds. Yeah. Very, what did you do? Really? Take notes. Where's the chemical engineer going? Don't stay here. Honestly, there's some good stuff there. All your friends are there. With any engineer who is left, you're not leaving today. Oops.
Okay, so we have some questions.
Yeah.
So do people with US passport also need work visa?
Say again.
Do people with US passport also need work visa?
I think so.
So they need the study visa, yes, and then that allows them to work 20 hours
As a student.
as a student.
Yeah.
So they'd apply, but they would need the study visa too.
Do we need to confirm our admission first before we can apply for scholarship, or can we do it simultaneously?
You need the offer first.
You would have applied to get the offer, you don't need to confirm. And if you do accept your offer, and I would encourage you to accept it even if you're not sure, just because that then sends more emails about accommodation and student life and then applying for your visa. So
Why
you're
there's
not
no DPU?
by accepting your offer, you're not obligated to do anything.
The next question, yes. The dev salts and the postgraduate excellence awards, they're for all.
Which University of Nottingham-Grad?
Okay,
So
please
University of
mute
Nottingham
yourself.
and, engineering also fund additional ones, so there's a central allocation of those. So we do make hundreds of these awards centrally, but engineering also contributes to the scheme, so there is an extra pool available for engineering, and I'm presuming many other faculties do similar, but we do.
Yeah. So what's the deadline to secure admissions? For postgraduates, we usually don't prescribe anything. It really depends on, the one aspect that's key is that visas, they take time. So, you need to be mindful that you don't apply in August and expect the visa to be here in September. It's a whole process. The sooner you apply, the better. but there are no hard deadlines for all of the university. Some courses, they set deadlines, but they're full up.
Yes, so yeah, some will just stop accepting applications and they just close. But actually, the earliest you can apply for a visa is 3 months before your course start date. So really, once you've had an offer and been gone unconditional by that time, that will give you the most time.
Yeah. So someone's asked.
Right after that, obviously.
Okay, thanks, Lucy. So someone's asked if the funding's for 3 years. The course is for 1 year. I'm not sure why would you get funding for the last 2, but it's unless you're doing an undergrad, that's questions more relevant. But usually most master's courses are 1 year.
12 months.
Yeah. So 12 months you'll be covered if you do end up getting the scholarship. That's right. Is that it, Yusra, or do we have some more?
Can you share application links too?
Of course we can.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? Anyone? Yes, sir, please.
Like for a student who loves like who's getting the quality of education in Pakistan,
Yeah.
apart from getting international exposure, so what are the advantages that he gets when he gets to a university like Nottingham?
Would you like to speak like me? Do you think I'm a well-exposed person?
I think so, yes.
Maybe that's one. But it's also networking. You meet people. Like I said, it's not about just study. It's not in the city. It's a great place to be. You have a big student population. So you get to interact with all sorts of people. And when you interact with people, that's when you learn the most. If you are willing to learn. Okay. So that's one of the things. But we're part of the Russell Group. And you know what Russell Group is? The Russell Group is a group of about 24 elite universities in the UK. What that means is that we're actually 7th in the UK for research. 95% of our research is world changing, right? What that means is, so why am I talking about research? When you have a good research portfolio, when you're a big research university, you attract a lot of funding. When you get that funding, you then apply that funding to your facilities. Those facilities allow people like yourselves to come and use your talent to contribute to that research. And now you're repeating the whole cycle again. So it makes an ecosystem where if you want to do your research, it's a place where you find. In fact, I have so many colleagues, including myself. We did our PhDs there, and we just continued on. It's a good workplace as well, and they do invest in their own talent as well. So if you've got the zeal, the willingness to do it, does that answer your question? Yeah.
Also, whenever you're thinking about that, the environment and the opportunities, you look at modules, you see the specializations they offer. That's what you're going for. So I think we check out the specializations, to check the courses, what they're offering, what the facilities, what they have specializations, and that should be.
That's very good, very good. That's a good idea.
Yes, can we get job
As a student?
Yes.
Yes, so if you're on a student visa, you can work 20 hours per week. But that's a limit, and Julia, what's the minimum wage, Lucy?
Oh, I think is it £12 after 21? Not actually sure.
I think,
12 to
yeah,
14
usually
pounds.
about £12 per hour, you can work 20 hours per week. But like I said, if you study there, you can apply for a post-study work permit that gives you access as if you are working already. You've got access to 38 to 40 hours per week. You can get into a full-time job. You can start looking for research. You can look for another course, whatever you want. You just travel to the UK. So, any other questions? Yes, you had asked a question first.
So, as it's currently like job market in the UK, what's the university doing to secure or help students in can get jobs?
So we've got, I think
careers
you
and-
mentioned
yeah.
careers and student support services.
It has got an international team, and each faculty's got a faculty-based team as well. So, and advisors are there. We have an industrial placement team that help find work experience. There's also an internships team where you can go, and even if it's not within your field, you can at least get experience at companies. So there's a lot of support there. So I would literally check them out on day one.
Yeah.
And
In essence, they won't step in as recruiters. What they're doing is they'll try to tell you how to tailor your profile to the market that exists. But the other thing is a little bit of an untapped resource. Work with your lecturers. So I work with my students. If someone wants a design engineering job, I'll put them in touch with someone I know, right? And even if they don't end up getting a job, they get intel as to. So a lot of times we apply for jobs with generic CVs, cover letters, supporting statements without understanding that you're so invested in yourself, you don't know what the company's asking for. So They give you insight as to what's happening in the company, what the market is looking for, and then you can sell yourself for a better job as well. Okay. You had a question?
So when student goes for a PhD, he or she is not get married. So is it easy for that person to go along with his spouse and the child?
As a student, not anymore. I don't think you can. It's not a question for me to answer. You're looking for visas and immigration, but
I think I know that.
okay.
So for PhDs, you can.
Yeah.
You can, your spouse can get sponsored and your child, masters you cannot.
Yeah, I'm asking for PhD.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you can.
So the spouse can work there as a dependent, like that's what happens in US.
I think so. So the rules change. That's why I'm not sure of this, but earlier before this, if you come as a PhD with your spouse, the spouse is actually, if you're on a student visa, the spouse is actually on a work permit, so they can work as if, a skilled worker visa. So I imagine it's the same, but don't wait. If you still have this query, and I really haven't addressed this, should I send the information to Yusra or Mariam, or should I send it to you instead? Okay, it's not. I don't want to advise you on, and that doesn't turn out to be true. I simply don't have the information. You had a question, sir?
I want to ask that what are other requirements for PhD? Does the publication matters? And second question, we can apply on the link.
Yes.
We can approach to the supervisor first and then apply. What are the basic type of PhD?
Yeah. So if you're looking for a PhD in chemistry, not that I'm not here to advise on chemistry, and I'm here to advise on engineering, but to be brutally honest with you, you don't even need a master's. There's no such requirement. Read up any PhD profile,
I
anything.
already did master.
Doesn't matter. You've done it pretty good for you. It's really good for you. It really helps you. It really does. But if any of you have this conception, a lot of students do, you need a master's for a PhD in the UK. You do not. You can go straight from a bachelor's to a PhD. I'm a prime example of that. I never had to do a master's. Having said that, if I had done a master's, it would have really helped me in a PhD because you have fundamental research skills. In terms of what you think is the best way to apply for chemistry, I would always advise go to the Nottingham page and write down PhD studentships. What it is it's a paid for job. So not to give you too much detail on how the PhD infrastructure works, basically, if I'm a supervisor for a PhD, I need to attract funding. I need to go apply for funding. Once I have secured that funding, I can now hire employees to work for me. Those employees are essentially PhDs or postdoctoral students. When you have a studentship, that means someone's already secured the funding. They have the subject area, and you can now go work for them. The only problem is you don't get to choose the topic area. You have to work in their topic area, but in the broad field of chemistry, yes. So the other way is you want to work on something that you want to work on. You have a topic area in mind. You can apply for a PhD, and what they do is you can even send it to someone within. You can send it to a supervisor if you want to. You can ask them, listen, I want to work on this area. Do you mind having a look? If they're a nice guy like me, they'll spend some time. They'll look at your CV. They'll look at the research proposal, and they'll say, okay, it's a viable plan. Let me see if I can manage some funds. If they can't, usually in these cases, the funding isn't readily available. There is a possibility you could approach your own government or a local funding body to see if you can get some money, or indeed any international funding bodies who can maybe seed fund it or something or the other to secure the funding. But if you've got an idea, the easiest thing is if you can work on someone else's project, just apply for a student PhD. It removes that barrier of funding. Someone secured the funding, they'll even pay you for it. That's what I did. But if you have your own idea, you need to go through the application process as if you're applying for a master's course.
What the professor looked in your CV like?
It depends. It's not easy for me to say. Usually, if you have publications, it's really good. You know how the research infrastructure is, but what they'll be looking for is, again, if it's their idea, then you need to specify exactly how do you meet the specific objectives of the study. That's what they're looking for. And they'll even interview you. They'll call you for a Teams meeting. They'll have a chit chat with you. They'll look at your CV and cover letter. But it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is because everyone's different. If I was looking for a PhD student, I'd be looking for someone who can get along with me, really. And last, I just sent someone for a PhD. But their supervisor wasn't even looking for too much technicality. They were looking for someone who's proactive and who can get on with project management because they want a little hands-on. They don't want to be micromanaging someone. Make sense? Good. Any other questions? Last one.
So I was looking at the website, most of the programs are 12 months long.
Yeah.
They are 2 semesters, and at the end you have to do a dissertation. So what exactly is the timeline for the dissertation? Is it included in the 12 months, or can you work longer if you want to maybe work research longer?
No, it's included within it. Unless it's a bespoke course, then, so we used to do an extended research course in electrical engineering. 1 year you do teaching, whatever, and the next 12 months you do a dissertation. When you talk about 12-month course, it'll usually start in June and in September. So you start in September, till June you'll do all the dots, you'll do all the modules, and then June, September you'll do your thesis. Does that make sense? I actually run the thesis module, hate it, but it's okay. Okay, I'm going to move on to the Faculty of Engineering. Again, you're welcome to stay on and listen in. Lucy, do you mind? Answer the question, and then we can move on.
Please carry on. Did you need this?
I need to go on the presentation.
I'm just answering Sana. Shall I?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's go. There's a
Sana's
extend the display.
investment LLM.
Sorry, I was being rude. I should have asked. I'm playing with your system there. That's okay. Okay,
Your
good.
electrical engineer should be like.
Engineers have no idea about computers. Stop stereotyping, Miriam.
Can I put my email in the chat so anybody else?
No, I'll let you get on the chat actually, so you can answer the questions. I just need to get this guy on the screen. Oh, that's the one. Let me try to get it back into.
We're just logging in from here. So
Oh, thank
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let's work with that. Okay. So, Faculty of Engineering. Someone's here for engineering? No? Engineers? There was one. STEM engineer. Sorry, say again. Computer science. There might be one post for you. I might. Yeah, let's have a look. Anyone else? Okay, so I come from the Faculty of Engineering. This was intended to be an engineering session, but it's good you guys showed up and listened in, and that's appreciated. So the Faculty of Engineering has about 20 research groups. We've got two UTCs, University Teaching Centers. One of them is run by a company called Rolls-Royce. Have you heard of it? It's a big company. They make cars, they make gas engine turbines for airplanes. In fact, that's one of the turbines we have in our ECLC building, ESLC building. We've got about 5,600 students, of which 500 are postgrad tops, 550 PGR research students. We work with about 1,400 plus employers and a big alumni network of about 41,200 students. These are some of our QS World rankings. We're, as a university, 108 in the world if you do follow QS. If you follow THE, Times Higher Education, I think we're ranked 130. We're 7th in the UK as per QS, but these are the department specific. So each one of our departments is within the top 10 in the UK. Some employability stats. So according to a HESA graduate outcome survey, about 89% of our engineering graduates graduate from master's course end up in further work, in highly skilled further work within 15 months of graduating, with an average salary approximately £34,000, which is actually a pretty good figure, if you ask me. We're also, we love our diversity. This is an Athena Swan Charter. An Athena Swan Charter is kind of like the Oscars of gender equality, if you must. And we're the first faculty in the UK to actually achieve the gold standard. So we're the gold award, sorry. So some of our facilities include flight simulators, design studios. We've got wind tunnels, space labs. So we've got a big undergraduate aerospace program. So yeah, sometimes when someone comes on a tour, we do make them sit on the flight simulator, and it's like flying a plane. You land the plane. It's all fun. We've got a PGT hub. This is a dedicated space for all MSc students just to go chill. You can play board games. Every now and again, I drop by and I bother you with some nonsense presentation on something or the other. but it's a good place to just unwind after the day's lecture. We have, as per Meta, one of the biggest virtual reality teaching suites. It's fairly new. I think it's about a year or two old. And you can you can explore virtual reality, and we do use it for teaching. And we've got the conventional engineering, we've got rapid prototyping, 3D printers, electronics workshops. Some of the impact. So, Lucy, do you want to talk about the impact? You love talking about these things.
I love talking about this. So this is just an example of the research that we do. Poor Son, I'm never going to answer a question, by the way. I'm so sorry, Simon. So yeah, this is just one of the things from our imaging that's now in over 40 hospitals worldwide. So because babies can't actually explain the pain, because what doctors actually, when they're assessing burns, it's literally on a pain scale of 1 to 10. That's how they assess how bad it is. And children obviously can't tell you that. So this imaging actually shows immediately the blood flow, which helps them determine the treatment immediately and how long that bandage needs to be go on, because actually the healing time could be delayed if you actually have to take the bandage off to check it. So this is absolutely phenomenal. And some of the imaging processing that we're doing is bringing out some really nice things. So we do have within engineering quite a lot of spin-off companies that have come out of the technology. So it's very much an environment where we want to produce things that have
I
impact.
think 12. We've got 12 or 8 spin-off companies coming from engineering. It's a big number. Yeah.
It's all good. Got a new one called
Onwing, huh?
Cheesecake.
Right?
Sorry, you pressed your button. Sorry.
Yeah.
The technology. So yeah, we also have Onwing. This is getting a lot of mentioned in our press at the minute. It's on the BBC yesterday. So basically they're calling them snake robots, and they're using them as well as on aircraft engines, whether it's developed for, the technology was developed for Rolls-Royce to actually cut down the engine repair time. So you don't need to disassemble the engine, you don't need to move the plane. The engineers in Rolls-Royce in Derby are actually controlling the robots and actually not only diagnosing them, but actually mending them, repairing them. Better English than me, thank you. But those snake robots are also being used in the body now as well to try and define cells and things. So there's a lot of biomedical applications that are being worked on alongside these things. We've got the biggest power electronics and drives research department, I think, in Europe. And there's a lot of work going into the electrification of vehicles, planes, trains at the moment. So I went to Farnborough Show. This is really old news now, but I went to Farnborough Show 8 years ago, and literally we just had what looked like a laptop battery, and that was it. That was what was on our table. And I sort of went off to have a coffee. I was like, don't leave that. I was like, what are you talking about? And essentially that battery that I just thought was obviously a laptop charger was what they reduced the power. What used to be like a filing cabinet size of battery to power an electric aircraft had gone into that. But that is 8 years ago, so I think it's probably
fits in your
old
pocket.
Old news. Sorry.
So the faculty has 5 departments: architecture, environment, civil, chemical, electrical, electronic, mechanical. So someone was computer science. Yeah. So what kind of MSc are you looking for?
I think probably maybe AI or machine learning.
We won't offer that. It'll be very conventionally. So I thought maybe you could fit into something like electronic communications and computer engineering.
There are AI modules.
There are AI modules, yeah. That's something you could explore. So if you want to, after the session, come and have a chat with me, I can show you what the modules look like and see if it piques your interest. Are there any other engineers here, maybe in the chat, Lucy? But I'll walk you through some of the courses we have. So what we go for is, rather than, we do have conventional mechanical engineering courses like aerospace, automotive, advanced mechanical manufacturing. These are streams within the conventional courses. But we're also we have a diversified portfolio of MSCs. So I teach on a few of them as well. One of them is, and I found this really cool, is human factors and ergonomics. So you're working on a production floor. In essence, the safety of the human is also part of engineering. So it's a beautiful blend of psychology, data science, and some engineering. You put it all together, and now you can see how to take care of employees, but how to make practices of engineering safe and more ergonomic. It also includes something around anthropometrics. If you've ever seen, maybe, I don't know, someone try to design a mirror that you put on your hand while you're riding a bicycle. It's a weird idea, I know it, but just had to come up with that nonsense. And of course, there's bioengineering. It's not biomedical engineering. This is more towards biosensing. So it's bioengineering. Advanced materials is more surface coatings maybe, and then of course additive manufacturing and 3D printing because of the net zero goals and sustainability. Additive manufacturing methods are taking a lot of the engineers' times, and essentially you need MSc courses, and this is a lovely course to join. Within architecture, we've got a separation between MArchs and MSCs. I'll leave the screen on for a second instead of talking and boring about. I don't like architecture. And then with Chem Eng and civil engineering, we've got advanced civil engineering. If you're looking for something with more management, we've got civil engineering with management. Advanced structural engineering, we've got advanced chemical engineering. But this is a really cool course, food process engineering. You go, everything is pre-packaged most of the times that you buy with your, maybe when you go eat your slanty, chili milli, whatever you eat. It's packaged, it's made on a factory floor. So how does, so there's a, not that I need to have this conversation now, but there's a misconception around chemical engineering. People think if you're a chemist, you're a chemical engineer. And the easiest way to explain this is a chemist will be able to make chocolate in a test tube, and a chemical engineer will be able to produce it, mass produce it so that you can sell it, the chocolate. So that's what chemical engineers do. They're not chemists. They are people who help chemists get their products out there and mass produce them. So one part of that is food process engineering. How do you dry certain foods? How do you wet them? How do you ensure that you're processing them in a safe and healthy environment? And then there's, of course, sustainable energy engineering, which looks at renewable energy, solar panels, wind energy, turbine energy. What are the current practices in technology? Some of these contemporary challenges are covered within these modules. Electrical, electronic, number of courses. We've got basic electrical, electronic engineering. We've got electrical engineering. We've got electrical engineering for sustainable renewable energy, communications, and finally power electronics and drives. Now, here's the good bit, right? We've got alums and University of Nottingham partnership. So what that means is if you come for any one of these courses, if you're from a chemical, and that's why I was trying to stop your students from chemical engineering, is because if you come from a BS chemical or electrical engineering into any one of these courses, we've already mapped them. As per engineering, no questions asked, you get a 15% discount. It's simply because of the partnership, it exists. Just get the admission criteria. If you met them, you'll end up in one of these courses. We'll give it to you. All we need is a name. And what we're going to do with that is a session right now. It's called a personalized offer recommendation letter. So if you come from any of these courses, join me, just have a chat with me. If you have a transcript, bring it along, give it to Lucy or me. We'll note down your names. If you fit into any of these courses and you are likely to get admission, I'll sign it off. Why? What does that do? Well, the first thing is when you apply for your application, when you're doing your application to Nottingham, you have to pay a £50 fee. We'll refund it to you later if you've gone through us. But at the same time, I'll give you a recommendation as to what I think is a better course for you based on your aspirations, based on my experience working with a number of courses here. Anything else you want to add, Lucy?
Yes, so we wouldn't let you apply. If you were going to go in entry, we would say don't apply, but I'm sure most people will all get that admission to us, but we want to make sure we're not wasting your time, we're not wasting your money. So
Yeah.
we pre-screen them, we can, if anybody's done a slightly different degree, we can send it to the course director for them to look at it to make sure you are suitable, and we can get back to you.
That's right. So if you don't fall within some of these courses, maybe you're from a math background or a physics background, but you're interested in physics and in engineering, not all hope is lost. We do have some courses that can take on physicists and mathematicians. So, what the easiest way this happens is if you give me your transcript or you tell me now that this is my name, I'll get in touch with you. I'll send you my transcript. I'll then get in touch with the course directors and see if they like you, if they like your profile. And we kind of come up with this internal admissions process. I'm not going to charge you any money, of course. But it's like I said, it's good to ask questions. It's good to just have a chat and see. But if you do fit within one of these courses, then the job's pretty easy. You come, I'll sign up the letter for you. You get the 50%, the 50p discount.
But the email address on the next page, if anybody wants to take a note of it, that is my team. So it would be my team that would be get in touch with the course directors. We're part of our admissions group within the faculty. Everybody will be aware that you're an elite institution in Pakistan that are partnered with us. So, we're there to try and help you and advise if that course isn't suitable. We'll let you know.
Yeah, so just
And
if
you can also, follow up and you can speak to the course director if you wanted to. So we would always offer that as well.
Yeah, but email, if you can't, if you don't want to speak here, maybe there's not enough time, or you think, you need some time to think. Do email, it's eng-international, and it's the same thing. They'll take it to the course directors.
Yeah, it's myself, Jess and Lindsay working that team, we will be doing that, but obviously you can equally email Ahmed, he'll send it.
Yeah,
to us.
yeah, of course. So that's usually, I'm repeating myself, I know, but I need to emphasize this because there's people on Teams. If you belong to these courses, just have a chat. If you're on Teams and you're not here in person, drop the email here. And what that does is any of this mapping, you fall within this, you get a 15% tuition fee discount. And you can also apply for a separate partnership scholarship that is worth 5,000, but you need to go through an application, whereas the 15%, it's a given. So yeah, if you're here, come along. If you're on Teams, drop us a message, and thanks for coming. Thanks, Lucy.
All right, so we have something for you.
Any engineers?
Any questions?
I want to.
Yeah, please.
You really talk about social science. So
I'm not a
what
social science, so I can't go to
the idea.
social science. Do you want me to put up the slide with the courses? Yeah, of course. Maybe here somewhere?
Political science.
Okay, so the reason why we have this slide is political science. Law, maybe? No? Let's see if I can find something else for you. So those courses that I showed you, they're mapped. It's short. If you're from any of those courses, see something here. Yeah?
Yeah.
Politics and international relations, we've got something. And these aren't just the courses, some of them are schools, so they'll have different courses within them. So what I'd recommend is go online and look up UON, politics and international relations, and then you'll see all the different courses that we offer. Okay? Any other questions? Yes.
Engineering department just give me how you are.
Yes.
Again.
Not, I can't say you're eligible, and I can't offer, say, you need to share your transcript with me. So as what will happen is, if you're from a chemistry background, so in your degree, do you do any design processes? Have you done any thermodynamics? Yes? Have you done any design?
Yeah.
Like CAD, AutoCAD, SolidWorks, you have done thermodynamics.
Kinetics.
I'll give you my card. You drop me an email, and I'll talk to the course director.
What do you need?
A bank. Sorry, I'm getting older. Shouldn't say that in front of you.
Thank you.
Just drop me an email. If you don't, give me about 2 weeks because I'm on doing these roadshows. But if not, just drop me a message on LinkedIn, share your transcript with me. Maybe even a CV if you have any work experience. Your work experience, working with RA. Okay. Good. Share that with me in your CV and your transcript, and then I'll see where you sit. Because I think there might be also that you might be. Okay. Anything else?
For the session ends. No.
No. If you do think of something, like I said, don't contact Lucy. She's not going to respond to you. She says a lot of things. But yeah, I'll just put this screen up just in case you want to connect or email us.
Can you remember what the GPA was?
CGPA.
Yeah.
2.9 to 3.59 columns, right? Yeah, somewhere in that range is.
Tell me that again when I'm typing that for Sana, please.
Am I okay to change the slide, or does someone need it? There were some electrical engineering students on chat. I don't know if they want to have a bit of a conversation. Yeah, 2.9 to 3.59, please. Yeah, please.
Join with your email and everything so that.
Yeah. Get in touch, just, it's the easiest way is to ask questions and, but it's 15% is a good amount to start with. And then you can keep applying for different scholarships on top of it. Yeah. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, you guys. Thanks very much for coming.
Thank you on Friday night. Go and have fun. I wish I was going to have fun.
Should I check Teams? You really didn't have to. I'm so be working for you as well. Where's your big bag? Thanks, you guys.
Thank you so
really
much.
didn't have to. You really didn't have to.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. What's your name, sir? There are two things यहाँ पे. एक, Lucy, if I were to get into chemical engineering program, can be he's from a chemistry background, could be honorary partnership.
Yes,
If I get him in.
absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
As a law student, you'd be entitled to a course discount. We just can't say right now that you're
They
eligible
have it.
for the course director in that program, but you would absolutely be eligible as a law student for that part of scholarship within the faculty.
Yeah.
So what I did was.
Yes, either doing chemical engineering, environmental process engineering, or food process. We do have that. You've already got a master's degree. You can, as long as it's considerably different from your first one, because you just have to explain why you're doing the second master's.
If you want to move towards a PhD, that's you can start with a PhD.
Yeah.
But there's the one. How are you?
Start looking for PhD. In the meantime, if you share your profile with me,
Yes.
I'll take it to the course director.
चले उसका जा
PhD, I'd always recommend UK, and simply because you can finish in 3 years. PhDs in the US, they take 5 years. Yeah, it's a long process. You don't want to waste that much time. You end up in the same place. I wouldn't be so sure. If you have talent and if you have skill, don't listen to people. Just do it. Don't talk. Don't jibber jabber about jabber. Just do it.
I have GPA 3.5 and
Okay.
I was just 0.5 in.
Okay. Doesn't matter. It's good. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. PhD to buy करते हो ना. PhD 50 for a year.
Oh yeah.
PhD होता है यार. एक चीज होती है. पेड़. डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करते हो. मैं ये स्किल्स नहीं है जो तुम्हारे पास चाहिए. ऐड करो आप मुझसे कांटेक्ट करो. I'll try to help you out.